Hey, what's up everybody? This is Damron. We're playing Halo, the Master Chief Collection, specifically Halo Reach, and we're doing our Co-Op LASO guide through Halo Reach, and we are doing it on co-op, which brings us to part 5, Long Night of Solace. This is probably the most difficult mission in LASO in Halo Reach, so keep that in mind. And the reason I put this together is there are some things in co-op that are different than single player, okay? And we'll talk about those as we move forward and get a little bit of downtime. But just to go ahead and get this mission started, as you saw, we kind of went to the left and jumped over that rock, got to the edge of the beach here as we're making our way up through the shallow portion of this water. If you do that, you'll be able to run past this entire section, and we're not going to have to worry about any of the enemies that are going to spawn on that beachfront. So let's go ahead and progress forward until we get to this bridge up here that has some cover on the left and right. So as we progress up there, you can see this bridge on our left hand side that's kind of more of a pier, I guess. We're going to go onto this right where these walls are, and we're going to get some cover. And we're just going to wait right here for just a second as this Covenant dropship is coming in to drop a Wraith onto this pier. As soon as it kind of gets into position, you are safe to run out and get behind this Wraith. As soon as it drops down, now we can board it, and we're going to destroy it by meleeing it in the back. Your partner just wants to stay on that bridge and keep cover until you finish that so the Wraith doesn't kill him. As soon as you kill the Wraith, we're going to make our way up this hill here. You can go under the dock there for a second to get cover from that dropship, but don't wait there too long because you are technically out of bounds. So you got 10 seconds to get out of there. And we're going to progress up this hill here, and as we look to the right, we can actually jump out on these rock formations. And as we're right here, the Covenant that's progressing, or stopping Noble Team from progressing up the beach, they're not going to engage us from here. In fact, you can actually just wait here and have Noble Team kind of clean up all the Covenant, or you can use, your pistol or your rifle or whatever to kind of give them a helping hand to speed this up a little bit. While we're progressing through this part, just to go over a little bit of the differences in co-op, obviously the biggest thing is the Iron Skull. So the Iron Skull in co-op, when someone dies, anybody on the team, it's going to restart you at the last checkpoint, whereas in single player, obviously it's going to reset your mission. So that's going to allow us to have a little bit more variability to the way we approach sections. Sometimes speed running certain sections is a little bit more efficient, and with our checkpoint system, we have a little bit more flexibility to do those types of things. However, in co-op, some of the enemy encounters are a little different. There's going to be more elites in certain sections, so you can't really approach all of them the same way as the single player LASO guide. So that's one of the reasons I put this forward, to show you guys some of the differences in co-op as you're progressing forward, if you're like me and you really like to play games with friends. So as we move into the building, be sure you grab the rockets from this Marine who is running out of the building. He's always going to be there, and he's always going to have rockets, so be sure you grab them. And then this guy up here, this Marine that has rockets, you usually want to go up and kill him yourself and take his rockets so you have those as well. But he actually got killed by a Covenant dropship there. I was lucky to find them. He kind of blew up against the back wall, and I was still able to get those rockets. Progressing forward, as you go up the hallway, immediately sprint and assassinate that elite that's going to come out in front of you. That's easy. It's kind of scripted. It's going to be the same way in co-op and single player. You'll easily be able to take him out. So another thing is obviously the blind skull. We're going to cover that just briefly. Obviously your entire HUD is blank. Something you can do as a workaround is you can go into a custom match, and when you see your aimer on the screen, you can use a sticky note or something like that to get your aimer. That is a workaround. I didn't do it. I prefer to just kind of play LASO for the way it's supposed to be played. I think it's fun and challenging to not have the aimer. But if you feel the need to do that, please feel free to do so as we're progressing on. So as this door's open, be sure you grab this sword. So one person on your team needs to have the sword and the rockets. Preferably the other player is going to keep a DMR and whatever other weapon they would like to keep. But whoever has the sword and the rockets, be sure that player on the team has both of them in his or her inventory. Okay, so as we progress up, we're going to enter into the space section of Halo Reach. Very different than a lot lot of the other games, right? There's been no kind of section like this up until Halo Reach, so this is pretty cool, kind of refreshing, but a little bit difficult on LASO. But good thing is Black Eye doesn't actually affect our ship here, so the ship's shields will actually recharge at the same rate that it does in just like regular legendary playthroughs. So this section's not really too bad if you use these strats, and these strats I actually got from Halo Completionist. Feel free to check his guides out. He has really great solo guides, and they're really good starting points if you're kind of going to go after this LASO achievement. But again, some things are different in co-op, and his strategies aren't going to work as well in some scenarios of the co-op LASO playthrough. But once you get out into space, we can use that purple kind of galaxy that's off into the distance as a reference point. We're going to kind of fly to that, and the game's automatically going to turn you around after a point. But if we're kind of coming into Anchor 9, as you can see here where I'm at, the Banshees are always going to come up from the left, and that's really going to allow you to wipe them up pretty easily. As soon as you clean those up, look up, and you may be able to take one of the ones that flew up, but then we want to look right and down for a second group of Banshees that are coming in and flying up and to the right. So you actually, if you come in from that purple galaxy, you can clean up actually the majority of the Banshees that come in the first section of this fight. But nonetheless, we're just going to kind of keep flying near that purple galaxy. We're going to kind of stay around there. It's a real safe place to stay. I will mention, if you are using the reticle kind of workaround, remember the reticle in vehicles is a little bit different than where the reticle is on your rifles and gun weapons. So that's something to keep in mind. But that's okay. I prefer to just play it with the blank screen. It's kind of fun. It's kind of challenging. So we're just going to kind of clean up this section. Now the second group is coming in here. Again, some Banshees. Now this time we're going to have some of the Spectres coming in. Now these, I'm not sure if they're called Spectres actually. I think that's what, I don't know if they're called. Whatever. They're going to come in and they're going to be shielded. So you're going to have to take their shields down, preferably with your cannons. And once you drop their shields, then you can switch on to your lock-on missiles to finish them off. So you'll see that right here. I believe I take a shields off, swap to the missiles, get that lock on, completely miss all those shots actually as I'm trying to show you. But once you pop their shields, the missiles locked on are a pretty easy way to finish those off there. So let's go ahead and clean that up, and it's really just introducing you to this space section right here. After you've kind of cleaned all this up, you will get a notification that a large force is kind of entering the area. So let's clean these up as we're doing that, and we'll wait for that part. See, we're really staying on this edge of kind of the battlefield where this purple galaxy is. This is a very safe place to stay, and eventually you're going to get the objective that Anchor 9 defenses are online, and now we're going to have a large force that comes in, and coming from that purple galaxy again, kind of going into Anchor 9. You see I'm flying up a little bit. I want to come down on Anchor 9 because we're going to see a ton of Banshees come up from the top left and below us. So I kind of shoot some guys down below, and then I'm immediately going to kind of turn to my left here and try to clean up some of these Banshees, and then look over to the right hand side and you'll see some coming in. Do what you can, and then immediately fly back down, and we're going to go underneath this structure here. And if we go on the back side, oh gosh, I don't know how I didn't blow up there, but once you go on the back side of Anchor 9, this is actually a relatively safe area that a lot of enemy ships don't really come to. The cannons from Anchor 9 actually, if you want to stay back here, will do all the work for you. It'll take some more time, and I prefer to kind of get myself into the fight. But if you know, are having trouble staying alive, you're having difficulty with this section, which is totally understandable. This is a tough section, okay? But you can use, as you can see, when I get in trouble, I just immediately go back here. And one of the things when you're in trouble in this spaceship is to utilize the barrel roll and utilize, you know, the left bumper and left and right as well as back to kind of do the 180 back turn and things like that. As soon as you start getting hit, do those maneuvers, and a lot of the times you'll be able to escape that scenario. But as you can see, I'm really utilizing the back of Anchor 9 as well as my co-op partner. We're kind of, you can see him there, we're kind of just hanging out back here, taking some shots when we can, but we're not really risking it by flying out in the middle of the section. Sometimes some of the enemy ships will come back here, but for the most part, it's pretty safe back here. There's actually a way that you can just position your ship to, you know, let go of your controller and let the cannons from Anchor 9 do all the work. Again, I don't prefer to do that. I think it's not that bad of a section. You can pop out here and there, take some shots, but the whole key to this kind of out, you know, space section is to take your time. Don't get yourself out in the middle of nowhere and kind of risk getting annihilated. So after a while of fighting the kind of smaller aircraft, the Banshees and whatnot, eventually some Phantoms are going to come into the fight, and they're going to have these shields in the front of their ship. As soon as this part of the section comes about, you want to fly straight down, and you want to fly straight to that hurricane-like structure that's on the atmosphere of Reach. That's kind of your vantage point. So here I am, turn around and go straight down. And the reason we're doing that is because the Phantoms have kind of a verticality of area of their detection. And when you're coming from below, they don't really detect you, they don't shoot at you, neither do the Banshees. This is a very safe way to kind of assist Anchor 9's cannons, just kind of coming from the bottom, and we're going to shoot at these Phantoms. As soon as you start getting shot at, boom, just turn around and head straight back down towards that like that vortex there on Reach's surface in the atmosphere. That's just go straight down until the game turns you around automatically. It will turn you around, and then just keep using that strategy to get shots on these Phantoms. So that's what we're just going to do. We're going to keep turning around, we're going to stay safe, and we're going to take out these Phantoms. So as you can see, you know, we just been staying safe here, and we'll take this moment right before we get into the next section. As always, thanks everybody for the support that y'all have shown me. The channel's grown. It's been a great experience, and I've, you know, really enjoyed building this channel. Again, I keep it non-monetized, so you guys don't have to filter through ads. So if y'all like my stuff, the best thing you can do is like and subscribe. And let's get right back into this. We'll be finishing off this last Phantom here. And after you do that, you'll kind of get this notification here.
Anchor 9er to UNSC ships, all targets neutralized. Bravo 029er, you are clear to dock. Activating marker.
Holland to Bravo 029er. Noble 5, you ready to go?
Affirmative, Colonel.
So now you'll be kind of instructed to dock at Anchor 9. So let's go ahead and go up there and do that. The one thing about the docking, be sure you kind of go slow into where it tells you to go. You're not going to have any indicators right on LASO. But again, the big Anchor 9 structure that we were kind of hanging behind earlier, trying to stay safe, right in the middle of that, you're going to see an opening kind of on the middle portion. As I look down here, right in the middle, let me look down for you eventually. Right there, you can see it now. It's kind of straight in front of me. Just go kind of slow, and eventually a cutscene will start. Now we'll skip that. Immediately after the cutscene, you're going to be tasked with kind of this fight here. Immediately go underneath this Covenant ship, and underneath it is going to be a lot of Banshees that have not taken off yet. Go underneath the ship. Both people, you can go behind each other, or if there's three of you, immediately go down there and shoot all those Banshees before they even come into the battle, and we won't have to worry about any of those. Now we can use the opposite side of Savannah to stay safe. Savannah will circle around the Covenant ship, so you can kind of stay on the outer side. Right here you can see I'm just kind of flying away. You can stay safe by staying on the opposite side of the Savannah ship, opposite to the Covenant ship, and then you're going to be tasked to destroy the engines on the Corvette. Before you do that, you want to kill all the enemies in the section. Take out all of the enemy aircraft, because as soon as you kill the engines, more enemy aircraft will spawn. So you don't want to kind of double up on the amount of enemies that you have to fight. You want to clear out the first set of enemies, and then we're going to take out the engines. Now again, staying on the outer side of the Savannah as it's circling the Corvette is a pretty safe place to stay. Do be careful though, obviously the Savannah is moving. You need to pay attention, because you could fly into the Savannah ship itself and blow yourself up. So be careful, and a good thing to do is kind of focus on the same ship that the Savannah is shooting, because you can kind of use their damage and your damage combined to take down ships pretty quickly. But as you can see, really I'm staying kind of safe, just kind of staying on the outside of the Savannah, not really worrying too much, just kind of making sure that I don't die. And you can see the Savannah just lit that ship up there, so you could actually just stay safe over here if you need to and let the Savannah take down all the ships. So that's something you can do. Again, I'm just trying to show you the safe method here, so you can see really I'm not taking any damage by staying on this side of the Savannah. So let's go ahead and clean up these aircraft out here, and we will get to the point where we're taking out the Corvette engines once everything is kind of quiet. As you can see, it is here now. It doesn't really take that long as long as you take out those Banshees below the ship. So now you can see basically everything's taken out. All the enemy aircraft are gone. It's pretty quiet. So now we're going to take out the Corvette engines on the back of the ship. If you do this in under 3 minutes, by the way, you will get an achievement, but don't worry about that on LASO, even though you may get it using this method here. It's quite possible you could still take it out. But also keep in mind that although there are no enemy ships in the air to deal with right now, the Corvette does have turrets on the ship, so you can still be shot by those turrets as you're kind of taking out the Corvette engine. So once you destroy all 4 of the Corvette engines, there will be a new set of enemies coming into the battlefield. We can use the same strategy again. I'm looking for the Savannah. I was like, where is it? So again, we can use the same strategy to clean up some of these enemies out here. Again, use the outside of the Savannah when you're in trouble. I'm kind of playing it a little risky right here. I'm not sure what I'm doing, but again, if you kind of use the Savannah to your advantage, one, the Savannah's guns are going to help you, and you can stay on the outside of it to kind of stay safe. Again, it is moving. As you can see, it almost destroyed me there. So keep in mind the Savannah is moving, so you can't just kind of chill completely. You're going to have to, pay attention to where it's going, but pay attention to the ships that it's shooting at, most importantly, and try to shoot the same ship. As you can see here, the Savannah combined with your fire can really clean up some ships pretty quickly.
Great shot! That Seraph is blasting me! Taking fire! One hot. Taking shots from the Seraph!
available data on that Corvette. Find a way inside.
So once you've finally cleaned up all the ships, and I saw there they are Seraphs, not Spectres, so the Seraphs are the ones with the shields. But once you take them all, you'll be instructed to actually board the Covenant ship itself. You'll get a little cutscene. Right after the cutscene, you're going to be on top of the ship. You don't have to do that. I sometimes I kill that Marine there, but just because he gets in the way. But right in front of you, your first jetpack elite is going to jump up. As soon as you kill him, this is why we got the sword earlier. We're going to jump across, and then we're going to kill this jetpack elite right here. As soon as you killed him, whip out your rockets, jump on this top of the wall here. You're going to have an elite, 2 elites on the center platform interacting with some control panels. So we're going to shoot the rockets at those guys and take them out. Now we can exchange the rocket for that Needler rifle right there, and we're going to be using the Needler rifle a lot for the rest of this mission. So we've got a sword and a Needler rifle. Now what you need to know about these jetpack elites is they're going to be coming from the bottom floor, and they'll jump up to this second floor where I'm at. And when they jump up, they will not shoot their weapons. So when they're kind of floating in the air, that's the best time to actually kill them with the sword. And that's kind of what you want them, you kind of want to bait them to do. You want to bait them into jumping up into the second level. Sometimes they'll already be up here and you'll have to deal with it. As right here, you got to kind of, improvise a little bit on lasso sometimes. But eventually you're going to take out all of the elites in this area. And once you do, you can exchange the sword for the plasma pistol on the bottom middle. And we're going to go to this doorway. Once you get the objective to clear the hangar for the Pelican, this doorway will open up and a couple Groots and a single elite will come out of it. And we just want to use our plasma pist burst here. We're not using an overcharge shot. And then as soon as we take his shields off, we can headshot him. Hopefully he won't be facing away from you. It kind of makes the headshot a little more difficult when you have to headshot from behind, but nonetheless, now we've got a full Needler rifle and a pretty full plasma rifle. So we're going to advance on, and now we're going to kind of do a lot of setups with a lot of these kind of barricades throughout the level, and I'll speed up the gameplay as we are moving these so that you don't have to essentially watch too much of that. But again, go up top, make sure we've got full Needler ammo here out of that. And once we do, you can check to make sure you've got a Needler rifle and a plasma rifle. As always, you can look at your shadow. You can press back on the Xbox controller to see which weapon you have equipped. And also, each weapon has a unique sound when you equip it. So if you learn what sound it makes, you can know which weapon you have in your hands just by equipping it and listening to the sound that it makes. But nonetheless, we're going to kind of push this barricade down this kind of hallway here. And again, I've sped up the gameplay here. But we're just pushing it down, and we want it kind of on its side because we're going to use it for cover in this next section. As soon as the door opens, though, head to the left, and we need to get 2 super combines on this engineer here. So 1, and then 3 more shots with our Needler rifle, and we've killed the engineer. Before we head back, try to find and take out the fuel rifle or the fuel rod grunts in this room. They're usually over there on the right hand side, but I'll kind of, you don't have to stay in here as long as I do, but I just try to take out some of these grunts to make our life a little bit easier when we go into the hallway. With the tough luck on, they're generally pretty much always going to jump after your first needle rifle shot because they're avoiding that super combine. But once you've taken out a few of them, let's head back into the hallway, and now we can use this kind of structure that we pushed in here for cover. I learned this from Halo Completionists, but the enemies tend to shoot at your chest, so having this barricade here will actually have them shooting the barricade instead of you, because they generally will not aim at your head. So as these elites are running up the hallway, we can burst them with our plasma pistol and generally stay pretty safe from their shots. After we burst them with our plasma pistol to take down their shields, now we can use that Needler rifle to get a headshot, or we can even get a super combine on them with 3 shots. So you can see, boom, take down his shields, swap over, and put the little Needler into his brain. So pretty easy way to clear out this room. So once the enemies have kind of stopped coming after you, again, we're going to push this, weapons locker down here, the Covenant weapon locker. We're going to push it down here. I've ducked behind it, and because there is a sniper in here, so kind of push it to the left, use it for cover, and now we can kind of go up this ramp here, and we use that to kind of get into the room without taking a shot from these guys' sniper rifles. There's two elites over here on the top left platform. You can see them in the distance, so no rush here. So again, we're going to utilize that strategy of really only showing our head, and the ledge here, as they're trying to shoot us in the body, is actually going to be taking the bulk of the shots that these guys are shooting at us. So just from this position, we can really just take our time and burst our plasma pistol and take their shields off, and once their shield pops, then we'll take a shot with our needler rifle to finish them off. Now, it's not smart to kind of go after them until you've taken out one. So I popped his shield, and then I can take him out. With one enemy, because they dive because of the tough luck with the needler rifle, you can actually take some needler rifle shots at him, and as he's jumping out of the way, you can kind of close the gap. So that's what you're going to see me do here. You know, there's only one enemy left, and again, he's floating in the air. They won't shoot at you when they're floating in the air. But I've kind of lost him, like, oh crap, where'd he go? But here he is, see. So now I can use my plasma pistol to burst him down. Boom, swap out to the needler rifle and headshot him. So now we've cleaned up this room, and we can activate the switch to initiate the next part of the battle. So we're going to head up to the platform where those elites were. Again, your HUD's not on, so you're not going to have objective indicators, so you kind of have to know where these things are that you need to interact with. But if we head to the platform that those elites were on, that's actually the switch that we need to hit there. But we're just waiting on our co-op partner. He's up there grabbing some ammo, trying to make sure he's full on everything. But once you're ready, go ahead and hit that switch, and you're going to get a cutscene. And don't worry, after this cutscene, you will be at full health, full shield, so you don't need to worry about getting health or shields beforehand. Immediately when the cutscene ends, we're going to head back to the left to this door here. This is very critical that you get here as fast as possible after that cutscene. As soon as this door opens, we are going to sprint around to the left, and there's going to be two elites. If you're fast enough, you will startle them, and you will be able to assassinate them and not have to deal with them. From that room, just progress on and turn to the right. We're going to leave the hangar from the elite room. Okay, again, turn to the right through this door here, and we're going to take this hallway again to the left door. We're going to go through that, and there's going to be two elites in this next room. Sometimes he'll be squatted right here, which he's not in this scenario. Or they're going to be on these control panels operating the cannons. Just assassinate both of those, and now we're pretty good. We're pretty good to relax for a little bit. And what we're going to do, I am going to speed up and cut up this gameplay, because what we're going to be doing is setting up ourselves for the next few rooms by blocking some doorways with these Covenant weapon lockers. So the first one, just knock off the ledge there, and we're going to move this all the way to the door on the bottom left hand side of the room. Okay, and we're going to finish this barricade a little bit later. Doesn't matter if you put that one on the left or right hand side. Now, progressing down the ramp, there is a concussion rifle. That's going to be very helpful in moving these boxes. So we're going to be moving this box into the next hallway. Before you really advance, though, you want to kill these Marines here. They can get in your way. They can run into the next room and kind of startle the enemies. We don't want that. So we grab the concussion rifle out of that box there, and we're going to kind of shoot it around this hallway. And again, I'm going to cut it forward, and eventually you're going to get it around, and we're going to use this as cover similar to what we did earlier. And once you have that in position, now we can kind of enter this next room, and that's going to be there in case we need to fall back. Theoretically, in single player, you could assassinate all these enemies without startling any of them if the setup is right. It's very difficult to do in co-op because there are more elites in this room, and also there's two general elites in this room on co-op as opposed to just one. As I mentioned, there are certain enemy encounters that are very different in co-op, and this is one of them. There's more elites to deal with, but what I do like to do is try to get a few of the elites assassinated before we alert the room. So you can see here, I'm going to assassinate this guy, turn to the right, assassinate this elite, and then a grunt sees that one of them is dead. So we're going to immediately rush back to the barricade that we made earlier, and we're going to use that similar to the way that we did in the hallway just a few rooms ago. So we're going to stand behind it, and now we have a little bit of protection from the elites and the grunt gunfire, because they typically like to shoot at our chest and not our head, so we shouldn't take shots. So there's one of our general elites right there, and we also have an invisible sword elite right here in front of us. Again, burst him down with your plasma pistol, get that unicorn shot on him, and then we have our first general elite that's coming after us, but he runs away. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over and grab this sword here for my concussion rifle. So now I've got a concussion rifle and a needler, and my buddy is rocking the plasma pistol. So once we kind of head into the room here, I'm really just going to try to super combine the grunts and get them off the table. But as I mentioned earlier, an easy way to take out these elites is to use your needler, because tough luck, they'll jump out of the way or activate their armor lock because they don't want to get super combined. So you can see what I did there is I just kind of kept bursting at him, not too fast, just kind of shot to make him keep his armor lock active, and then I was able to just stand behind him, and when he came out of armor lock, I was able to just assassinate him. And that's what I'm going to do for this concussion elite as well. I'm going to try to go ahead and clean up this grunt here with a super combine, and then I'm going to do the same strategy here. He started shooting at my buddy, and I can immediately go behind him for the assassination. So that's how you can kind of clean out those two general elites. Again, on single player, you're only going to have one of those guys to deal with, as opposed to the sword and the concussion and the 3 other elites. Alright, so we've cleared that room out, and before we hit the button to kind of initiate the next section, we're going to do some more setup, okay? We're going to speed this up again and cut it up a little bit so you can, but I'm going to show you exactly what you want to do. First, we're going to shoot this barricade that we brought into this hallway. We're going to shoot that back to the room that we brought it from. So let's just advance forward a little bit. Again, you're going to shoot it around this corridor. The concussion rifle is going to make it easy on you. There should be some concussion rifle in the box that we're actually pushing back. So once you kind of get it in a way that you can get it around the corner, eventually we're going to get back to the room that we brought it from, and we're going to push it up against the door that we put the other one on earlier. So we want to push these two close together to where they block this door completely. So take your time here, make sure you're happy with this and that it's nice and flush against the door and flush against each other, so that when it opens, the enemies don't just come running through it. We want it nice and close and compact, so that when it does open, the enemies do not come out, and you'll see that later. We're going to block a group of enemies from coming out of that door. So you can see that we've got this nice, pretty well looking there. I think I'm pretty satisfied with that. It looks pretty symmetrical. And we're going to go back to the control room that we were just in. And when we get back there this time, now we're going to set up a second barricade in this hallway, kind of back a little bit, kind of right here where I'm at now. But we're going to use 2 barricades. So you can see my partner has brought one up here. I brought one of these Covenant weapon lockers. I'm going to use the sword. Unfortunately, the low grav is no longer low grav, so these are a little bit harder to push than they were in the beginning. But also, look in there is brand new needler rifle ammo, so make sure you're fully stocked up on that before we kind of hit this next button. But again, we're going to push 2 more into this hallway, and as you see, I put one there. My buddy brought the second one, and again, same thing. We're just going to kind of make these flush against each other, and the reason we're putting these here is because we don't want some of the enemies that we're about to fight to actually retreat into the room that we came from, because we will be heading back that way, and we want to take all of them out so we don't have to deal with them in the next room. So once you're happy that these are flush with the wall and that path is blocked, we are ready to kind of get the next section going. Now, it may take you a little longer. Obviously, I cut it up and sped it up so you don't have to see me just moving the boxes all around. But those are the 2 barricades that you want to have set up prior to activating the button in this room. Once we have done that, we do not need the sword anymore, so be sure you exchange that for a plasma pistol. So you should have a plasma pistol and a needler rifle prior to starting this section. Okay, so from the door that we came from and where this general elite is on the ground, not this console here, I thought this was it, but to the left of this you're going to see a console that has a button on the right hand side right here. Once you hit that button, the next section has started. Elites, jackals, and grunt will be coming out of the door that we came from initially, but putting that barricade behind them will not allow them to retreat back to the previous room. So we're going to use our needler to super combine those grunts, super combine those jackals, kind of clean it up to where all you have left is the elite, and we're going to do what we've always done with these guys. We're going to be bursting our plasma pistol, getting that headshot before we move on. Oh man, that was, I didn't even notice that on his play. That was pretty sick. Shot him in the foot and he dove and I headshotted him while he was diving. That was awesome. Anyway, so once you finish that room, we're going to be moving on. We're kind of backtracking now. So we're backtracking to the previous room where we made our other barricade. And because we made that barricade, there should only be one grunt maybe in here. But if you, as soon as you come into this room, just turn to the left hand side. I'm kind of checking on my buddy here. Oh, see, so there's a grunt. Sometimes a grunt will get out, but you can see the elite behind the barricade, so he's stuck. So that's what we wanted. And we're going to go to the left hand side of the room. No reason to startle those enemies. Just kind of stay out of their vision. And we're going to jump up on this ramp and go back through this door, and we're going to leave those enemies. We don't need to deal with them. We are done with that section, and we're moving on to the final large battle of this mission. This is a tough room. Alright, so once you first come up here, all of their attention is really going to be on George in that room. So you can kind of stay back, use your needler rifle to super combine these jackals and these grunts, and to just take them out slowly. You're going to have a Covenant weapon locker on the left side of this room that has 2 full needler rifles in it. So you can use those. You're going to have plenty of ammo. Don't worry. Once you've kind of cleaned up the jackals and the grunts a little bit, there should be one elite remaining, and this elite's generally going to have his focus on George, and you're not really going to have to worry about him shooting at you, so you just need to run up and assassinate him as my buddy did there. So once you've kind of cleared out this room, eventually it's going to tell you to defend the slipspace bomb. As soon as you get that indicator from the Falcon, I believe, turn to the left. So that's the room we came out of, okay? Immediately to the right of that is a door that's going to open. It's going to have 4 jackals come out of it. You can try to grenade and use your needler rifle to clean them up pretty quickly before they kind of get into the room and cause problems. So that's a good way to do that, and we're going to make our way up to this platform here, and we're going to kind of use this to kind of stay safe. We got a needler rifle jackal down here. Some of the speed strats are to kill them and then run back to other doors, and as soon as they open, see that door down there, people want you to be able to assassinate those elites. That's kind of a speed strategy. I think it's a little safer to just kind of stay back where I'm at and use your needler rifle to needle down, kind of super combine the grunts until it's just the elite left, because with the tough luck skull, it's really easy to just walk over here after we've taken out the grunts and use our needler to make this guy jump around or armor lock or whatever and get an easy assassination on him. Or he's going to be like right there, he's focused on George and not you. So there's no real reason to rush over there. But once you have taken out those, the middle door across the way is going to open for about 6-7 grunts are going to come out of there. We're just going to super combine all of those. Another thing just to mention briefly is that if the gun of the Falcon or Pelican, not sure, on the front is there, you can actually press X on it and get in it and stay completely safe. But other people show that. Many people know about that. You can check that out if you want to. I'm showing you really what I think is the easiest and the safest way in co-op to just kind of stay back and help George out is essentially my strategy, because George is, if you stay back from the enemies, George most of the time will kind of get all of the attention of them and they won't really come after you. So you can see we're kind of staying back on this platform, and they're kind of focused on George, and we're kind of just shooting the grunts. I'm basically super combining all the grunts here until just the elites are left, and when it's just the elites left, it's the same thing. We're going to kind of burst this plasma rifle at them, or plasma pistol, I'm sorry, and eventually when their shield pops, boom, whip out your needler and get that headshot and or super combine on them. So now there should just be one elite left over there. I think I get a little risky here. You don't have to. Again, just stay back on this platform that I am on, and that's a pretty safe place to stay. As you can see, both of us were up here and really no enemies were even shooting at us. But I do get a little bit frisky here. I'm like, all right, it's one elite. Let me just go take him out. But I assure you, on Lasso, one elite is all it takes to give you problems. I think I was like, screw it. I'm just going to go take this guy out. I think I originally walk up here and I'm like, let's just burst him. We'll take our time. But eventually I just go over there and take him out. Alright, so after you take out those enemies, one elite is going to come out of the top door of every platform in the corner. So 4 elites, you're going to have a dual plasma rifle wielding elite, a sticky launcher elite, and 2 concussion elites. If you are fast enough, you guys can go to different doors and get an assassination on those elites as they come out if you're fast enough and prepare for it. But if you don't, it's okay. Again, using the strategies that I've shown you, you can use your needler rifle to make them armor lock and or jump out of the way until you can get an assassination on them, or you can use George if they're focused on George. So again, here I'm using my needler to make him jump around like an idiot until I can assassinate him. So with the tough luck on, you can really take down these elites pretty easily. The only guy that doesn't seem to allow you to assassinate him is the dual plasma rifle wielding elite if he's alerted to your presence. So if he's alerted to your presence, you are going to have to burst down his shield with the plasma rifle until you can get that headshot. And once you get that headshot, guys, it is the end of this level. The long Night of Solace is over. This again is probably the toughest mission in Halo Reach Lasso. So I hope you guys are enjoying this guide. I hope you're finding it helpful. If you like my stuff, feel free to like and subscribe. Hopefully I'll see you in part 6 of our Halo Reach Co-Op LASO guide.
Refueling track with the Covenant supercarrier.